Good afternoon from BMW and Porsche of Ocala. I'm Scotty, one of the BMW Porsche product geniuses over here. And today I have the honor and privilege to take a look at this beautiful 2019 BMW 750i sedan here. Now, this being a 2019, we're going to mention all the updates and changes we're going to be seeing for 2019, as well as just the absolute beauty and realness of this car. This car, of course, being a 750, is going to be powered by a 4.4-liter twin-turbo V8 that generates about 440 horsepower and 480 foot-pounds of torque. And this being the rear-wheel drive model, does weigh a little bit less than the all-wheel drive model, makes it a little more nimble and everything like that. Really an awesome car, and it rockets this car 0 to 60 in only 4.6 seconds. And a car of this size, that is really marvelous. Absolutely gorgeous car. And we're going to be talking about some of the options on this car as we're walking around it. So we're going to go ahead and just move right on over to the sticker. We're going to be just taking a look over here. So if you have any questions about the options on this car, we can pause the video and just take a look right over here. This car does even have my personal favorite option, which is right there, which is the Autobahn package. But let's go ahead and get started here. Now we come to the front of this car, and we do see a much more aggressive front bumper, and even as we saw in the back, a much more aggressive rear bumper, but we're going to take a look at that again. That means this car is going to come with the M Sport package. That's going to do a lot of different things on the 7 Series. Of course, changing out the steering wheel, of course, changing the wheel options, the front and rear bumper, the side skirts, even the little vents along the side right over here, as some people like to call it, the hockey stick. Changes that as opposed from being a chrome color to a black chrome, which is just really sharp, really accents the lines nicely on the car. Of course, this one does come with the optional 20-inch style 648 M Sport rims here. Really absolutely sharp here. And of course, we do see the M Sport brakes, but we're going to talk about that in just a moment. Some of the other things you're going to get with the M Sport package, we do see this more aggressive gloss black accenting around the window trim all the way to the Hofmeister kink, all the way in the back right over here. Really sharp. And what I love about the 7 Series, just little details. This whole window frame here is all one piece. Very expensive to do that. Very cool, too. Really just makes it look just very nice flowing lines on the car. Absolutely gorgeous. Now, this car is going to be finished in a black sapphire metallic. Really just a very nice color for this car. Nice and simple. Really accents the knot lines nicely. But if you start getting close to the car, and even at dust time, you really start to notice there's a little bit of purple hue, little blue flakes in the paint. Really makes the car look absolutely gorgeous. Now, we did mention the Autobahn package, which is my personal favorite option on the car. Autobahn package is going to allow rear axle steering on the car. And the rear-wheel drive model, oh man, this car is going to be a blast to drive. So what that allows us to do is really the rear tires, as opposed to just the front tires, can actually turn individually as needed. As you're going down a highway, it'll actually turn with the front tires to make the car feel like it has a longer wheelbase and make it much more stable at higher speeds. But then at lower speeds, when you're taking a sharp corner, going through some mountain roads, they turn in the opposite direction to help feel like the car has a shorter wheelbase to really make it much more nimble on those canyon roads. And of course, it's going to give us some other things. So we can see the active comfort with drive preview. What that does is actually gives us the little camera system. And we're going to go ahead and come over here to the front right over here. We can see there's dual camera systems right over here. It actually reads the road, and it gives you almost like a magic comfort. It's really cool. It looks for potholes. It looks for anything wrong on the road, divots, sharper angles that are off camera perhaps. And it'll actually adjust the air suspension on this car, since this is dual axle air suspension as well as standard, which is pretty great, to adapt for that little, maybe that hole in the wall, so it'll soften up the suspension on the right-hand side, so when you go over, it's not going to feel nearly as harsh. It's truly amazing what this car is capable of doing. And of course, we're going to go ahead and close this real quick. Now, of course, this being a 7 Series, it does come standard with a ton of things. Of course, comfort access, which just allows me to reach for the door handle. This being a 750, does come standard with the Napa leather interior, as opposed to just the Dakota leather that you'd find in like a 740. It's a much softer leather interior, and of course, this being a 750, we do see the cross stitching right over here. This one having seat ventilation and even massage seats. Does have the perforations in the leather. Really nice. I do have those ventilated seats on right now because it is a little toasty out. This car does also come with the Driving Assistant Plus package, and what that's going to give me is all the safety functions of the car and more. Now, of course, lane departure warning, blind spot, all that stuff like that, even anti-crash systems. Every manufacturer has it, but now this car takes that to the next level. Not only do you have lane departure warning, you have lane keep assist. So not only does it tell you if you drifted from the lane, it will actually help keep you in the middle of the lane, and you can activate a little button on the steering wheel that will actually hold you there and do all the minor steering adjustments for you. Really cool stuff. It's also going to give you the blind spot detection, but if somebody's on their side over there and you turn on your blinker, it'll actually steer you back into your lane to make sure, hey, you didn't see that guy, and help you train to be a better driver. It's really sharp. And of course, active cruise control, which not only maintains your speed that you're going, it also maintains the distance to the car in front of you. So if you're traveling on the highway, you could just rest your hand on the steering wheel and it'll do almost everything for you. It's truly amazing. And of course, the executive package this car has, which is really great, and we're going to have to go ahead and come to the front seat and back seat for this one, is going to include things like the front ventilated seats that we already mentioned, the front massaging seats. Now, this car is really sharp for that, and I'm telling you, I spoil myself with this one. If we hit this little button right over here on the door, and it's a familiar button from some of the other 7-seaters, but this screen right over here allows us to choose what kind of massage we want. As we can see, we have all these different options for different styles of massage. I'm actually going to turn that on, so when I get back inside, it's going to be nice and comfy. Really sharp stuff, and you can choose the level and everything like that. And it's a massage you could actually feel, which is always really nice. I swear some massage settings in cars feels like a hamster's maybe crawling on your back. This thing, you could really feel it with those air cushions. Pretty cool stuff there. It's also going to give me the ceramic controls. Now, as we see, the black accenting on the iDrive dial, it just looks a little more regal, really sharp there. And, of course, this face on the gear selector is also a black chrome style, which is, of course, the ceramic. It looks really nice on the car. The other thing that's going to give us, if we come to the rear seats, is the side and rear sunshades. So you can see right now it's all open, and I'm going to go ahead and close those all up really quick. And, of course, we've got the rear one closing as well. And it really changes the whole atmosphere of the car, especially when I even close the sunroof. And I always like to show this, so I'm going to go ahead and close this door here and show the difference in lighting from when it's all closed to when it's all open. I mean, it's got to be at least a 40% difference. It's amazing, the difference that you get with that. And, of course, this car does also come with the limo-style lights, which are really a nice little accenting in the back. They are just touch-sensitive. We're not going to see much right now because it is a little dark. It is a little bright out. But you can see the faint glow right over here. And you can adjust the brightness of that as well, which is really sharp. But it just gives a nice little accenting light in the back. I'm talking about accenting lights. And, once again, we won't be able to see this in the video. But we could change the accent lighting that we see through this little guy right over here all the way throughout the car to 7 different lights, everything from greens to purples to blues, whites, orange, bronze, everything. Really sharp stuff. And of course, continuing on from there, we already mentioned the M Sport package, and it is also going to give it the M Performance exhaust. Now, it's a little hard for me to record how the exhaust sounds, but it really is something you got to hear in person. It's an aggressive but very nice luxury sounding exhaust. It's not overly loud. It just gives you a nice growl and rumble. Really sharp there. Of course, this car does also have the parking assistance package. Now, the parking assistance package is a really neat package. Very underrated as well. As you can see, if I close this little door over here, not only do we have a 360 camera, which once again a lot of manufacturers are starting to get, but BMW is the diamond among sapphires here. So we can actually rotate this camera around the car and see what's going on around us. And you can see my amazing parking job. I did a wonderful job, I think. But you can also set it for auto right over here, and it'll actually adjust the camera for you. So if you're getting close on, let's say, your right front tire, it'll actually automatically rotate the camera to look at that front right tire. It's really cool stuff. And of course, on the screen right over here, which is the, if I remember correctly, about 10.2-inch touchscreen, is really awesome. And of course, with the parking assistance package, you do have the ability to reverse and parallel park, which is that little guy right over there. The car will do it for you. Truly amazing. And it also allows us to have wide angle cameras, which I can activate it right over here. So here's the wide angle front. There's the normal rear view. And the wide angle rear view, in case you happen to pull into a blind intersection or anything like that. It also lets us add GPS activation points. So you have a particular area, like let's say your office or something that's really kind of a pain in the butt to see to traffic. You can have it so that when you approach that area, it'll automatically activate the cameras for you, so you don't even have to hit a button. It's amazing what the car is able to do for you, so you don't even have to worry about it. Some of the other things the car could take over, even just like all your driving modes, which we haven't even mentioned yet. Of course, you have Sport, Sport Individual, which this car is very customizable. We'll find that out as we go through the vehicle. Comfort, Comfort Plus, and it just really just makes the car much more comfortable. It changes the gear selecting. Everything just makes it so much smoother. And then the Eco Pro and Eco Pro Individual, of course, to help you get the best gas mileage possible. And of course, we have the adaptive mode. Now, only currently the 7 Series gets that. Maybe we'll see a change of that some later on. But what this allows you to do is it literally does everything for you. It puts the car into comfort mode, and it literally uses the help of that little camera system up there and the way you're driving to adapt the car to the way you want it to be, without actually having to change the driver modes. Once again, it does all the work for you. It also reads the road, uses the navigation system to detect turns coming up, and prep the suspension for that turn. It's amazing what that little guy can do. And of course, this car does tell you the speed limit of the road that you're on, which is right there. And of course, we can also see on the heads-up display if the camera focus is there. And of course, the little flashing is just the camera effect. But that heads-up display is 70% bigger than the previous 7 Series. And of course, it'll show you everything from navigation to radio station information, telephone information. You can literally have everything of basic information pop up there, including the speed that you're going, the speed of the road that you're on. It's just really cool stuff. And even the little speed limit sign that we see, which is just like the 2 little dash marks there, if you go over the speed limit, it actually turns red to tell you, hey, you might want to slow down there. You don't want to get a ticket. Because this car, it glides on the highways. You could, and from personal experience, my family is blessed enough to have one, that you could be doing literally 85 miles an hour and it feels like you're not doing a mile per hour over 60. It's amazing how smooth this car is. And of course, you do see the M Sport brakes. Now, the M Sport brakes are really cool. That means it's going to have 374 millimeter front rotors, as well as 370 in the rear. So it actually expands the rotor size of the front and rear brakes. That, of course, helps stopping distance on this car. And, of course, this being the M Sport brakes, they do paint them blue as opposed to either gray or black that you'd find on the standard 7 Series. And they just look absolutely gorgeous. Really add a nice bit of accenting and color to the exterior of the car. And, of course, this being black sapphire at dust time, the blue brake calipers with the blue flakes on the paint really do show nicely. And, of course, coming from there, we already did mention the 20-inch alloy wheels here. So those are really nice, of course. I just want to make sure we don't miss anything because this car really is truly fully loaded. The ambient air package and, of course, the ambient sky lounge. We're going to go ahead and talk about those 2 little puppies right over there. Now, this little guy, which is all your AC controls, is all touch sensitive. As we can see, I can just activate it just by touching the little guys. There's actually no buttons, but they even have little divots and everything for it. But this little guy right in the middle, that is going to be the ambient air package. Now, what that does is if I open up the glove box, I have this little guy that kind of pushes down from here, and you actually load up almost like perfume cartridges or scent cartridges, whatever you prefer to call it, of different scents, and they spray periodically within the car if it detects kind of a, maybe like you had some McDonald's in the car, there's a foul odor in the car to help keep the car keeping smelling like new, have a nice light scent to it, and it's very nice. It doesn't overwhelm you. I'm a guy that's very sensitive to smells and stuff like that, and it really is nice. You just come into the car and you have a light whiff of the accenting smell. It's really sharp. And of course, the ambient sky lounge. Now we see all these little dots right over here in this moonroof, and a lot of people always ask what those are. Those are actually the ambient sky lounge, or the skylines. Now that's over 15,000 little etchings into the glass that it shines an LED light through on all the way around the car, and it looks like a little starry night sky, almost like a Rolls Royce. Really sharp stuff there. And once again, you can't really appreciate it during the daytime. At nighttime, this car really turns into the night, just a whole nightlife car. It is really sharp with all the ambient lightings, and of course the sky lounge really changes the whole driving dynamics and really just makes it look cool. Of course, we're coming to the inside of the car, and the one thing that currently only the 7 Series has is all the aluminum look style buttons over here. And if you hop into a 5 Series or anything like that, everything is just, of course, has a black plastic. But in the 7 Series, everything is very nice, very regal, very luxurious. So we see everything is just accenting that kind of brushed aluminum look to it. Even all the way to the steering wheel buttons, where we have all the active cruise control buttons, as well as the active steering right over here. Automatic headlights, automatic windshield wipers, everything you expect to find in the car. Really sharp stuff. The infotainment system, and that's my sole job, is just to teach people how to work this thing, is truly awesome. This one is running the latest iDrive 6.0 system. It's touchscreen. If you want it to be, you can stick with the dial if you're used to using the dial, or you can go with my personal favorite, the voice commands on this car. I cannot express how superior are than any other brand out there. So right now I'm listening to 95.5 on the Beatles. Maybe I wanted to listen to some satellite radio. Satellite radio classic vinyl.
You are listening to the satellite radio channel classic vinyl.
And the car already switched that over. Now we got some Doors playing, Riders on the Storm, and I'm going to go ahead and turn that down before I get copyrighted there. That's not good stuff. But you can see it's really easy to work, and you could use that for anything. And people say, anything? Oh, yes. Find me the nearest seafood restaurant.
Sam St. John's Seafood 50.
Just as easy as that. Or, show me the weather.
Current weather at your location.
Or maybe you're making a trip to the beach. Show me the weather in Daytona, Florida.
Current weather at desired location.
And check that out. It does it all for you just by a quick touch of the button. It's amazing how good those voice commands are. I literally cannot express to you how much I use them. They are awesome. And of course, the navigation system, if you don't want to use voice commands, is incredibly easy to work as well. It's still very traditional. If you're used to BMWs, it's very easy to learn. You still come to the same place as you always did to start anything. It's really good stuff, and you can set your home address and everything. But, well, let's go ahead and just continue on over here. Of course, we already did mention the steering wheel controls. Of course, this car does have a wireless charging with the Wi-Fi hotspot inside the car. So this car not only has 100 megabyte per second Wi-Fi, you can also attach up to 10 devices, if I remember correctly, to be on that Wi-Fi connection. It's really nice on that. It's pretty cool. Of course, plenty of storage space. Normally they complain, and even I would agree to it. Germans are not a big fan of having storage places or cup holders. This car, luckily, breaks that mold there. You do have plenty of cup holders. You do have plenty of storage space. The glove box and center console are very spacious on this car. You do have hidden little compartments over here, which are really nice for sunglasses or anything like that. Back seat has plenty of cargo space as well in case you need it. But let's go ahead and talk about cargo space. Let's go ahead and go to the trunk. And what's nice is I can actually pop and lower the trunk right from this little button right on the driver's door here. This car is going to have all the floor mats in the back, so pardon the mess there. We do see it does have the carpeted floor mats as well as the all-season weather floor mats. Pretty cool there. And we can see this car is absolutely massive for its trunk space. Really cool stuff. And of course, once you put all your stuff in, or once you take all the stuff out, you can easily close it just by giving it a light kick right below the front bumper. We see the taillights flash, and it gives me a little auditory tone, and it lowers the trunk for me. So I don't have to actually touch it. If my hands are full, I don't have to worry about anything. Truly an awesome car. We're just going to do one more little walk around on it. But if you do have any questions regarding this car or any other car in our lot, as you know, give us a call, email us. We're always happy to get you guys all taken care of. Other than that, we're hoping to hear from you soon, and hope you have a great day. Take care. Bye.